Yeah, welcome to another episode of Arts Place, conservative talk from a different view. We've got a great show today. Let's bring on my co host, Lloyd Mendenhall. Let's see if I can do it right. That one? And there we go. We got it going here.
How you doing, Art?
I'm doing pretty good. And,
Good.
and you, sir?
Man, I'm tired. I was tired. I literally slept almost all day yesterday. I don't know. Judy and I both did. We were just exhausted.
Right.
I don't know. We'd been getting up early all week long, and then yesterday we just I got up, went and got us something to eat, came back, laid back down, fell back asleep again.
Well, we got a good show today. Today we're going to talk about the primaries yesterday. Biden was the big winner there. And then we have Super Tuesday coming up in a couple of days. That's going to be pretty interesting to see how well Bernie and the rest of the gang do in that primary. And plus, we're going to talk about multi-millionaires and billionaires trying to buy uh, offices, you know, and because of old guy in the drone, Mitch, he got me turned on to Dan Bongino, and we might talk a little bit about Spygate. So,
Yeah, yeah.
so
Wait a minute, you're
Biden
right.
was the big winner. He came out way ahead of everybody. He got something like 40 something percent of the vote, and the rest was split up with the other minions behind him with
Yeah, yeah.
Bloomberg,
Well,
the single digits, and
whoops.
oh,
Let me shut down. She was yelling at the housekeepers, and I have her on monitor here. It's
oh,
like
okay.
it fit in. Yeah, it's like yeah. I don't think it was a. I think of it. I don't think it was a big surprise that, or I don't think it was a surprise that Biden took South Carolina. I think it was a big surprise by how much.
Yeah, that you're right. That was the big surprise because Biden spent a lot of time in South Carolina, and that primary was like really determined whether he was going to stick around or not.
Yeah, that was, if he didn't win there, he was out.
Yep,
And they're narrowing down the fields. And
yep,
I heard something, speaking of primaries, we got Super Tuesday coming up.
right.
And of course, we're in on that too.
Oh, okay,
Yeah. So they were talking to the Tulsa election board people, and they said, "Well, I'm a Republican. Do I really need to go vote in the primary because he's pretty well got it?" And they said, "Absolutely, because there's some other issues that are in that primary
right.
ballot. So even if you're a Republican, you need to, especially if you're like our state, which is a closed uh, primary.
Okay,
It's a party only primary. You have to be a
right,
registered Republican, Independent, or whatever your primary, whatever that party is. You can only vote for, which
right.
I think is the way it should be.
Yes,
We as conservatives or Republicans should be able to elect our guy,
right.
and the Democrats can go out and put out their guys, and that would stop a lot of this crap.
Yep.
It really
Well,
would.
sadly, here in Colorado, we're open primary, and
Yeah,
that just started a cycle or so ago. And now unaffiliates can vote in either or any of the primaries. Actually, they could
yeah,
vote in the Libertarian or the ACP, but mainly the Republican or Democrats. So then you'll have shenanigans where uh, Democrats just re-register as unaffiliates just to vote in the Republican primary to, throw a monkey wrench in it by
yeah.
backing the weakest candidate in the primary.
When I first moved to Oklahoma 38 years ago, uh, we no 39 years ago, the 7th of this month.
Oh,
I've lived here, and uh, when I first moved here, the district I was in, which is second district of Oklahoma,
right,
they didn't have anybody but Democrats. I went to, I'd come from Arizona, and they had an open primary. You went and voted in the primary, and
right.
that was that. And so I went to vote. They said, "Well, you can't vote." So what do you mean I can't vote? Of course I can vote. I'm registered. He said, "But you're a Republican. There's nobody running in the Republican primaries."
Yeah, that's right. That's
And
yeah.
then I started looking around, and so I was going to college again, and going up to the campus out of town here, and they had voter registration there. So I registered as a Democrat, and
Uh,
I was a Democrat up until Hillary ran against Obama, and I voted for Hillary. And then I switched parties and became a Republican because we finally had Republicans in Oklahoma.
right.
I always
Mhm.
voted Republican, but I couldn't vote in any primaries. So
Right,
that
right.
was the last time I voted as
Mhm,
a registered Democrat because
mhm,
there just was nobody to vote for. And I thought, if this person is going to represent me, I want the best person for the job, even if he is a Democrat.
mhm. Yeah.
So kind of,
Mhm.
but it's nice that we have close primaries.
Yeah. Good, good, good. Hey, let's do a little housekeeping here. Mitch, welcome to the show. Indigo, Rhino, Mike B, aka the Drone Ranger. Welcome to the show. Yeah, Colorado is in Super Tuesday as well. So uh, I think Bernie might have a shot at winning Colorado. I don't think Florida is in it, but I don't think he'll win Florida because there are a lot of Cubans down there, and they're not gonna back a uh, Castro loving Democrat.
Yeah, yeah. I don't see that happening. Uh, I was just, that was something. I was just watching a YouTube video just popped up, and it was some British guy had gone to, and it's titled. Uh, it was entitled "The Cuba They Don't Want You to See," and this guy went traveling, and then the vehicles they rode on and stuff, and you know those people their retirement pay is like $14 a month,
Oh boy.
and we're talking. One guy said that'll buy me a chicken, one chicken. Yeah.
Wow. Hey, but hey, the government gives you free rice cookers.
Probably.
Yeah. Woo! Yeah.
But yeah, and
And they're illiterate, but the only books they could read are on Mao, Stalin, and Das
yeah,
Kapital. Sadly, no Mein Kampf in the library there.
well, yeah. I wonder why. Yeah,
Yeah,
Russians are
yeah.
still mad about that.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how well the other candidates do. Will it be just Biden and Sanders going at it head to head? But it'll be interesting to see who drops out after Tuesday. I
Yeah,
think,
I I certainly hope that I hope for the average Democrats, not the far left, not the socialist and these nutcases they've got there right now. I hope they don't pick. I hope the moderate Democrats have enough sense. I mean, Biden's terrible, but at least he's not as bad as Bernie.
but here's the deal, Lloyd. Most of the people that are involved in primaries are activists, and they tend to be on the fringes,
Yeah,
and they're like the grassroots movement. So I think there, and that's why the Democrat Party has been being pulled further and further to the left, and so. I think Klobuchar will be gone. Buttigieg will be gone. Steyer's just quit. Uh, Warren, she may be done if she, you know. But it'll be interesting to see how who takes Florida, who takes Colorado, Oklahoma, and so on. I mean, will it be all split up to the top three or four candidates, or will
Yeah,
it just be, you know, one candidate takes most of the delegates and the rest, go to the second tier candidate? You know,
yeah, and it's sad to say, but I don't even know what the rankings are here in Oklahoma right now of the top, Democrats running. I don't know who's ahead in the polls right at the moment,
yeah,
and because I'm just not hearing about it. I
mhm,
mean, they're just not talking about it in Oklahoma. But this has been a red state, and
right,
uh, I apparently don't listen to the right channels or something
yeah.
because I
Well, you're
mean,
not watching the local news or the
well, I don't
network
watch the
news,
local news, but even that I get updates on uh, from our local news on online, and I watch
right?
it that way. And they're just not talking about it.
Yeah, hmm yeah, and I get that.
But
So
but we're a very conservative state. I mean, truly, we were the only state that had every precinct or whatever, every district or whatever,
right,
the whole map. There wasn't a blue spot on there in 4 years ago,
right.
2016.
So Bloomberg had a half-page front colored fold-out and ad in today's Orange County Register newspaper. Huh. Yeah, you know how much money he's dumped into his campaign so far? 600. I'm hearing $600 million he's poured into his campaign. If he really wanted to help people, why doesn't he give each person in the United States $1 million? Imagine what that would do to the economy.
Yeah, yeah, he could use his money a lot better than trying
Yeah,
to get himself into.
it's all about power. After he was mayor of New York City, like this is like the largest city in the U.S. or the second largest. I could be president. Well, how hard could that be? I bought this seat. I could, hell, look at Donald Trump. He bought that seat, but he didn't. He's used a lot of his own money to get it started, but he was getting a lot of small donations.
Yeah, his donations came from people like me
Yeah,
that and you and stuff like that. The same the same people that when somebody is, like in our community we have here, somebody's needing something or hurting or sick or whatever, you know, we'll put together a GoFundMe, to help them out. Well,
yep,
we're the same people that donated to our local whoever was running. And in this case, that's in Donald Trump is who we're talking about. And that's
right.
people like you and me that did it.
hmm
And
Yeah, that's right. And I was just speaking of old guy on the drone, Mitch. I watched yesterday's episode of Dan Bongino, and he made a really good point that the difference between Donald Trump and Democrat candidates is when he talks to the people, he talks to them in plain English. He doesn't talk down to them or talk to them like, he doesn't care what color you are or what ethnic group you belong. He just talks to you. Where these other Democrats, they talk to you like in little groups, like, oh, you're black, so I'll talk to you that way. Oh, you're Hispanic, I'll talk to you that way. Oh, you're gay, okay, that way. Oh, women over here, okay.
Well, and that's it. They divide us. They're divisive in their ways. And I was going to say that, same thing about Donald Trump. He says the stuff. He says it like I said.
Yep.
Not politically correct, not necessarily. He's not. People who are PC are looking for an excuse to be offended.
Yep.
And, to be a liberal and to be politically correct means you have to wake up every day, open the newspaper, and find out what the hell am I offended about today?
Yeah, that's true. That's
I
true.
mean, that's the truth of it.
Mhm.
It takes a lot of work to be a
Yeah.
liberal because
Mhm.
you don't know if you're eating something or drinking. I don't know. Was this coffee cup made in free China or was it? Maybe I shouldn't drink from it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's it. They got to find some. It's a lot of work being a liberal,
Yeah, it
to
is. And
because you don't
now,
know if you're in the in crowd or the out crowd from day to day.
mm,
They have to tell you. So that's why they keep them divided. Because if all these groups got together and started talking, they'd realize, wait a minute, and that's where you got a lot of these walkaways coming
yeah,
into the
yep.
conservative movement
Mhm.
because they got together. They suddenly started looking. Wait a minute, they've been promising us great jobs for 40 years now,
40, 50 years. Yeah.
50 years.
Mhm.
They've been promising us
That's
something.
what
And
Lyndon Johnson said.
yeah,
Once we have the black vote, we'll have them for 200 years.
yeah,
And, and now they're starting to realize, hey, wait a minute, we're getting jobs, and I'm doing better now than what the Democrats say.
yeah,
Well, maybe they were wrong. Maybe they were selling us a bill of goods, and they're starting to realize, hey, he's this guy's done more for me than any other person has done, and you know what? And I think if the Republican Party is smart and they just keep on that trend, they could turn things around here.
yeah.
Because,
Well, and the thing that the Republicans have to do is they have to learn how to articulate.
yep,
They have to be able to, you know, they have to be able to defend their position, you know. And this is where they can't. I saw that. This is where there's a fine line because there's times that either Trump or someone on his teams needs to. All right, did you have to say that? But the thing that and it was pointed out to me, I can't remember who I was talking to. And, well, actually, I think it was on this show here. One of the guests we had a couple weeks ago was talking about you know, he knows how if he makes them mad enough, they're gonna
keep
come at
talking
him.
about
Yeah, keep
and
talking,
keep him
and
in the public spotlight. And
and they're going to make the mistakes because they're going to get so angry. They're going to say what they really think, and then all of a
yep,
sudden,
mm,
boom!
hmm,
That's where you know where they stand.
yep. Oh, and now CNN's going after him about the coronavirus. And they say, boy, look at how stupid this guy is, and it's like, really, and that's all you got to say. They've been saying that about Republicans since the 70s.
Oh yeah,
Ronald
yeah,
Reagan, he's stupid. George H.W. Bush, I mean, every Republican president we've had, that's their mantra. That's all they could say is they're stupid. Uh, a point I wanted to bring up today, since we were talking about Dan Bongino, he had David Harris Jr. on his show, and he was talking about a video he did when he was at the airport when this woman confronted him at the baggage claim section. If you take off that MAGA hat, you look a whole lot smarter. And there's that video is on Facebook, and I just watched it, and it was just she was just so arrogant, and he says,
yeah.
why would you come up to a complete stranger and say something like that? And
I
she goes, you need to be educated. You need to, oh, so I'm stupid, huh? No, that's not what I said. And, and he just, oh, God. And these people, and that's about the only time he really got confronted for having a MAGA hat on.
Yeah, I think I know which video you're talking about because I saw it. And
Yeah.
here's the thing: the indoctrination starts now. It starts with the young, but
Uh-huh.
it started in. Okay, Mitch. He said he'd be right back.
Okay.
Anyways, the indoctrination starts in the college campuses. Now, these are people that, for whatever reason, they've been able to afford a college degree, and they get in and they start working, and they become indoctrinated.
Right.
So now these are the educated people that are out there teaching and or doing something along that line. And if you know anything about the revolution of Iran, part of that was started on the student level. And
Hmm. Yep.
now those same students are wanting it back, and this is the
Yeah.
way this is what we're seeing to start happening here in the States. This
Hmm.
this student movement started back in the late 60s, early 70s,
Yep.
this socialism, and now it's starting to come back the other way.
But they
But
called it the free speech movement back then.
back then, yeah.
Yeah,
Now
how
now
funny
it's the
is
no
that?
speech
Now they
movement.
don't want free speech.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because they've embedded the idea now that free speech is equates to hate speech. And they've convinced people that this is true.
Hmm.
And it's and that's a perfect example. If you wear a certain type of hat, you're making a statement.
Yep.
That means you're using hate speech by wearing that hat, and you're also uneducated because I went to college and my professors told me that I'm smarter than you.
Hmm. Oh, and it doesn't have to be a MAGA hat. It could be just a red hat, and people
Yeah,
will assume, oh, it's a MAGA hat. I'm going to
yeah,
pop that guy. There was a guy. I guess he was at a bar or some public place where a woman came up and popped him one because he had a red hat on, and she thought it was a MAGA hat.
you're right.
Mm. Uh,
Yeah, they're to the point that they've they've become violent,
yeah.
and you
Hmm.
know it's it's what well that's what happens. Look at the Bolsheviks. Look at, I mean, in a way, go all the way back to the French Revolution.
Hmm.
You
Yep.
know, this we the people type movements that we the people are us. But when you get this socialist ideas coming through,
Right.
and and it's anarchy. It's all it is. It's a type of anarchy.
That's right. Hmm.
Except anarchists want zero government.
That's
They're stranger than libertarians. No offense to my libertarian friends, okay,
true.
because I know they're out there, but I don't. I'm a conservative in 99% of everything, but there's a few things I'm just
Right.
average. And I
Mhm.
think that's what the average American is. Uh, because anyways, let's move on.
Yeah.
I've ran off
You're so
off the
right
rails
on
again.
that. And so what? Let's see, I got to find out what have we been talking about. Gotta get back to my notes here. So we talked about, nope, that's the wrong one. And
Yeah, I even got you lost, didn't I?
yeah,
You were talking about
okay,
David J. Harris and Dan Bongino.
right, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. South Carolina primary, Super Tuesday. Okay, and then we sort of talked on this a little bit, millionaires and billionaires. who are trying to buy office seats. And a big example here in Colorado is our governor, Jared Polis. Uh, he inherited money from his parents. They had an e-greeting card company back in the 90s, and he sold that company at the top at just before the dot-com bubble burst.
Yeah, I was going to have to say if
And
he
then,
would have had it done just before then.
yep, then he bought a seat on the Colorado School Board. And then he spent a few years there. Then he bought a state house seat up in Boulder. I mean, it's solid Democrat seat. So he he didn't have any competition. He just basically, I don't even know if he got primary, but he had a boatload of money, so he easily won that seat. And I think he did a couple terms in that. And he decided, hey, I'm gonna run for Congress. So oh, that was when Mark Udall decided to run for Senate. So that seat was open. He ran for that, easily won it. It's a solid Democrat seat, just like Denver is. The two bluest districts are District 1 and District 2. So he's did something like 3 terms, 3 or 4 terms in Congress. And then when Hickenlooper was term limited, he decided, oh, I'll run for that. And there were several candidates, several uh, primary candidates in there. He easily beat them all because of the money they put in. And then when it was head to head with Walker Stapleton, uh, he just outspent Stapleton 5-1. He spent $30 million on that race and beat Stapleton something like 5 to 9 points. So
Yeah,
yeah, so he and then there, people are going to say, well, Donald Trump, and we already covered that, but Bloomberg did the same thing. He bought a seat as mayor of New York, and I guess Steyer thought, well, I'm a billionaire. I can buy the presidency too. And he's just so unlikable. Have you ever seen Tom Steyer? He looks so uninspiring.
I may have, but it's just not
Oh,
clicking
he,
right now.
he put a ton of ads on YouTube before Bloomberg decided to run, going back a year ago.
Right.
And boy, now I'm seeing Bloomberg on other platforms too, and it's just getting annoying to me. But think of the think of these platforms; they're making a ton of money off of him. So, in one respect, that's uh, that's they're making out like gangbusters. So,
Yeah.
yep. Jaybird is correct. He's predicting that Star Warren and Bloomberg are next to drop out. Um, you could be right, depending on how well they do on Super Tuesday. If Warren could pull a rabbit out of her Indian teepee, she could maybe stay alive for a little bit
Yeah.
while.
Well, the thing about Warren being Indian, of course, she's originally from Oklahoma,
That's right. Mhm.
and it's a big deal here. You
Yep.
know, we're the probably the one of the few states that has actual Indian nations that are, you
Mhm.
know, pretty much autonomous. and they're not reservations. They have their own area,
Mhm.
but it's not a reservation. I mean, they coexist with, you know, with all, they coexist inside the state,
Okay.
and uh, but in anybody from Oklahoma, my brother said it best a long time ago. I think I've said this before. Uh, Everybody's got a dead Indian grandma.
Yeah.
If you're from Oklahoma, you know.
Right.
But
Hers
the
is
thing,
so tiny.
right?
Yeah.
And had she had she been, uh,
Forthcoming.
well, I think the thing is they require you to have a roll number. It's called the Dawes roll
Right.
in order to qualify for most of these. So these benefits,
Mhm.
and somewhere along the line, of course, when you get back east, they just assume you're from Oklahoma. That used to be called Indian Territory.
Yeah.
Oh, she must be an Indian,
Yep.
and they don't bother to check the rules and regulations. Of course, they were a little looser, back
Right.
when
Mhm.
she went to school, which was, what
Well,
I think they were using rocks and
my
chisels back then.
my niece's family on her dad's side, they're from Oklahoma. They're from Paul's Valley,
Oh yeah,
and so
I know where that's at.
I she did do a DNA test, but I don't know. I'll have to ask her if she found out if she has any Native American blood.
Well, they require it now, and they do the DNA test if you present a roll number, a Dawes roll number with proper documentation. At least with the Cherokee tribe,
Right?
they also require you to do a DNA.
How about the Choctaw?
I
I think they're the
I
other big.
Well, we got five big ones here,
Okay.
and we have the Cherokee,
Mhm.
the Muskogee Creek or Creek Nation, the
Yeah.
Choctaw Nation, the Chickasaws, and the Seminoles.
Oh, okay.
Plus, we have down, south southwestern Oklahoma. We have, like, down around Lawton and that area. We have uh, we have the Apaches,
Right.
and uh, let's see, the Wichitas, the Apaches. We got a bunch of little tribes too,
Right. Hmm.
you know.
Well,
And
here
we've
in Colorado, we have the Arapaho, the Cheyenne, the
right,
Kiowa. We've got Utes over on the western slope.
Western Slope, yeah, the Ute.
Yeah. Hmm. And I think there's some other smaller tribes. I'm not sure if Comanche might be one of them, but that
Uh,
might be more of a Texas, New
yeah,
Mexico.
Comanches tend to be in. Let's see, you got the Apaches.
Today's
In
episode is brought to you by Indian History Month.
Yeah, I used to know all that stuff,
Yeah.
and
Well,
like
my dad
it's
has.
irrelevant. But I was just saying, in her case, she, we've all of us that have kinfolk that grew up in Oklahoma, or we grew up in Oklahoma. Uh, we were told that, my
Mhm.
wife's family, same thing, could never prove it. My family, same thing, could never prove it. You know,
Mhm. Either way, Trump is going to destroy all those lying Democrats.
I hope. I mean, my problem is with what they got running right now is this. I hate to say it, but man, where's Senator McCarthy when you need him?
Yeah. Yep. That's right.
That sounds bad because
Hey,
that
let's
was such a,
welcome Rick Halbert to the show.
hey, Rick,
Yeah.
and Mitch is back.
And Steve said, yes, Hillary and maybe even Michelle Obama both have been sitting very low, yet lurking. Ooh, okay. Yeah, I've been hearing uh, who was it Biden who said he might have Obama, Michelle Obama as his running mate? Oh boy,
God.
yeah. I mean, she couldn't even get kids to eat. eat right in school.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. He won't be grabbing her. She'd knock the crap out of him.
Yeah, that's
She's
I
tough
know
looking.
because her member's probably bigger than his. Uh,
Yeah. Uh,
but
did you see what Jaybird wrote? Nobody else can see it but you and I. Yeah.
Michelle, yeah,
She frightens me.
yeah,
She got a bigger Adam's apple than I do.
yeah, mhm,
I mean, I don't have a problem with it, to each their own, okay? Just leave.
yep,
You
yep,
know, I don't go out and run my campaign on the fact that I'm a I'm a straight white male, you
mhm.
know.
No, you're
What
just grumpy.
I'm just grumpy. Yeah.
Yeah,
And speaking of that, I it was only censored for a moment.
yeah.
It just got held because it just automatically got held.
Mhm.
But speaking of that, I'm going to ask some of the people here in the audience and uh, anybody who wants to get in on this satire that I've got running of the presidency to send me a just a 3 4 second clip, 5 second clip says I'm voting grumpy 2020, or something like that.
Mhm.
Send me a video of it, and uh, I'll talk more about it on my show Monday.
Okay,
But
good,
um,
good. Yeah, that'd be cool. Hey, we're up to six uh people. Wow, boy, that's
it's
eight people now. Oh boy.
we are starting to get
Yeah, we're getting more
well,
people to
and the
come
closer
in.
we get to the election, the
Yeah,
more people are going to be looking for stuff like this,
yep. Hmm.
and especially the conservatives, because and you and I are just two plain people doing, you know,
Yep,
just
that's right.
saying, we're no big superstars or anything like that. Hello, Steve Mack.
Steve Mack, welcome to the show. One of the things what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and get this show into the Western Conservative Summit, which is held right around Fourth of July weekend or the weekend before Fourth of July. If I could pull that off, and I know the people uh, inside the Western Conservative Summit because they're part of the Centennial Institute, I could get a hold of some people, and I know they've had some other radio stations down there, and so maybe I could set it up to where we could do a live show from the Western Conservative Summit and get some of the candidates to come in and speak for a few minutes, like
Yeah.
Congressman Ken Buck, who's our state chairman, GOP chairman.
By the way, how's Casper doing?
I guess he's doing all right. The last I heard, he's been out fun, getting more money than his competitor in the primary. So he's doing good on that front, fundraising wise. I haven't checked in a while, but I will uh, go back and see, okay, who's making what in the fundraising part. But
Okay, yeah.
I've seen a lot more of Steve House, his his blah, 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 primary opponent. Been seeing a lot of him on Facebook, and so Casper needs to step up his game. Either that or Casper just busy campaigning. You know?
Yeah. I try and keep up with him on Facebook a little bit,
Yeah.
and I hadn't seen anything lately from him. Uh,
Right.
but I was just laughing at what Steve Carper said. And yeah, Steve, you're right. I don't think anybody in their right mind would want to choose Hillary for a running mate
Right.
because
Yeah.
your life expectancy would be about that long.
Yeah. One suicide away from the presidency.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what he was saying too.
Yep.
Somebody
Man,
did a video of the Clinton body count. It's like 30 minutes long,
yeah,
and it's on YouTube. And I got halfway through it, and I said, "Okay, that woman's scary."
yeah. Well, a lot of it goes all the way back when he was governor of California, Arkansas.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, boy, you don't want to be, anywhere associated with the Clintons. And if you are, you better keep your mouth shut and look at
What I don't understand is why she ain't bumped off Bill yet.
yeah, that's right. But
Yeah.
you know who Hillary's biggest donor was?
Who?
Harvey Weinstein.
Ah, yeah, yeah. How's that working out for him?
Yeah, yeah, Jay Bird, lock her up, and hopefully now that with the investigations just starting to get underway, hopefully we could finally get to the Clintons and possibly the Obamas. So let's kind of move into Dan Bongino, what I saw on his latest video, which is Spygate. And in that, he was just at CPAC
Right.
and he got a chance to interview Carter Page and Svetlana Lakova, two primary people that were, being used to get at the president. They were innocent people, and to try to, bring down Trump. And the story they tell is like amazing, especially Svetlana. You know how she got into this whole thing? She was a student at the not Columbia University, but not Oxford, but the other big
Cambridge.
Cambridge. Yeah, she was a student there, and she discovered an old postcard by Stalin going back to 1912, and she was invited to this dinner party, and she was asked to show this, and who was there? Michael Flynn. And now they tried to make it that she had some improper relationship with Michael Flynn. And she's like, I never even talked to the guy. He was across the table and down one chair from me. So, and this is how the story goes. And it turns out there was one person that was at that dinner that that person is the one that started this whole ball going. And so if you want, yeah, Mitch, go. Yeah, there's the link, and I think that's the one to the latest.
Yeah, yeah. I'll
And I watched it today. It's like 45 minutes, so I broke it up into chunks and
right, right.
watched about 15 minutes, and then kind of did stuff, and then watched some more. I'm like, oh, holy cow! And this guy is really on the ball. He really
Well, Steve Carpenter got me watching Dan Bongino,
right.
and uh, who's the other guy? Is it Lynch? He'd have to type up there who it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, he's another good guy to watch.
Yep.
And but yeah,
Yep. And this whole thing started uh, right after Trump announced that he was running for president.
oh
And
yeah, yeah,
it all started with the fake dossier. and the FISA warrants, and this election could be really important. Dennis Lynch, you're talking about,
Yeah,
right?
Dennis Lynch. I knew his DML, but I could, and I knew the last name was Lynch, but I couldn't remember his first name
Right.
because I've got the app. I just DML,
Yeah.
and
But yeah, if the House flips back to the Republicans, hopefully they can get to the bottom of all of it. And
well, it's real simple. If we as conservatives do not win back the House, it's our own fault
yep,
because we didn't get out there and vote. And
right,
I mean, all the people in here, except for Steve Mack, and even Steve can promote, even though he's Canadian, he's got American friends,
yep,
us included, and he can say, "Hey, get out there and vote conservative."
yep,
That's the big deal.
mm-hmm,
And uh, I mean, I mean, uh, I've got friends on both sides of the aisle. I just want everybody to vote, but I think if we really want to turn this around, if the Democrats, the moderates, the ones that are just the average, I'll say like Kelly Shore, the guy's
right,
a nice guy. He's as good a guy as
mm-hmm,
Uh, if he gets out and votes, and he votes for somebody who's more like-minded with him than say some of these ultra far left
right,
liberals, these socialists, and I can't imagine Kelly being a socialist by any stretch of the imagination.
yeah.
It's just
Jay
and
has a good point.
that's how we can get rid of this element that's causing
Right.
so much problems. Pardon me. It's
Mm-hmm.
causing so much problems right now. We have got to get out and vote.
Yep. That's right. And yeah, once we get at it, and hopefully Trump, when he gets his second term, he get weed out all these holdovers in the State Department, even
Yeah.
the White House and the other departments, because a lot of these people, they went to, they studied political science and they got their degrees, and their attitude is, well, I'm entitled to this job for life. And we need to start giving them the idea, no, nothing is permanent. Yeah, there's going to be different administrations, but you know what? You're going to have to work for America, not just for whoever you have an affiliation with. You know.
Well, I said it in one of my videos, and I've also said it, talked to somebody, I can't remember who it was. There was a time where if you worked for the government, you were apolitical.
Yes.
You did not, you couldn't come out and start talking. If you saw somebody doing something criminal, well, then you had to go to a supervisor somewhere.
Yeah.
But you couldn't come out and run to a congressman and say, let's get that person impeached because up the line because this person down the line did something.
Hmm.
You didn't get on the news. You didn't have your 15 seconds of fame. You did your job. You went home. If you were anywhere from a GS5 to a GS12, you
Hmm.
know, government services, you were a civilian employee. You still had to follow the same rules that we as the military did.
Right. Yeah. That's right. That's
But
right.
somewhere along the line, those lifers, and that's the other thing in the military. For 8 years, they had Obama getting rid of all of the generals that didn't agree with his point of view,
Uh huh.
and got rid of all the upper echelon, the command level, uh, you know, in the command positions. He got rid of all those guys
Hmm.
for whatever reason. He said, "Well, you need to retire," or
Hmm.
and that's you know,
Yeah. I mean, one thing that Bongino brought up was venom. You know, here he is. He goes to that uh, congressional hearing in his military uniform, and he's attacking his boss, the president. And it's like,
Yeah.
you know what? If you're in the military, you don't do that.
Yeah, that was court martial. That under the Uniform Code of Military Justice, he could have been court martialed for that,
Yep. Hmm.
and he should have. And the fact he got escorted,
Yeah, he was fired after that.
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
and that's exactly the way it should have been. And I'm not sure
No, that's
if
Lieutenant Colonel Vinman. Yeah.
yeah, he was
He,
a light colonel. He wasn't even a full bird. I'd like to know how many years he was in because I'll bet you anything he was topped out,
hmm.
which meant he would have been forced out anyways because you have to meet certain ranks within a certain time period or you can't stay
Hmm.
in the service. They just okay, you've topped out and you're not there's no slots open for you and we just can't uh yeah. And they got his brother too, who was another informant. That's
Okay.
yeah.
Hmm.
And they needed to uh they need to be removed because in the military I I didn't vote for Jimmy Carter. I didn't like his policies.
Yep.
It was a joke most of the time, but I didn't go out and say that. I didn't get on the news and say that.
Yep.
I
Hmm.
did my job
Yeah.
and did what I was told to do.
Hmm. That's right. Uh, but look at John Kerry. His whole thing was, so I'm in the Navy. How can I advance? It's, oh, I know. I'll fire off this grenade launcher, and I'll get myself a minor wound that'll take a band-aid, and say, oh, I got Purple Heart, and then when I'm out of the military, I could be blah 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 and say, "Oh, I threw my medals over the fence at the White House," which turns out they weren't his medals because he still has his Purple Hearts. He just went down to some pawn shop and bought some fake medals and made it look like he threw them over the fence.
Oh, yeah.
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 And back when Bush was running in '04 against Kerry, I made up these T-shirts with band-aids with Purple Hearts on them,
Yeah.
and it said Kerry's Purple Hearts.
And the thing was is during Vietnam there was a certain group of people and mindset of people that they were given Purple Hearts. I know some that fell off a ladder and busted their tailbone, but they were in a war zone, so technically they
Yeah.
qualified for a Purple Heart.
Hmm.
It wasn't earned in combat.
Right.
That's what that originally was meant for.
Yeah.
But when Vietnam, Vietnam, any place was a combat zone,
Yeah.
you know, and
Well, I mean, so if you use that kind of logic, my dad could have gotten several Purple Hearts because of stuff that happened to him. Like
yeah,
when he got that centipede bite. Oh, that was in a combat zone.
yeah,
Or when he got carbuncles and then he got laryngitis.
yeah.
You
I've
know,
got I've got a scar that runs clear around the back of my tricep,
yeah.
and it's a nasty scar. It was caused by a 30 millimeter Gal-8 gun, but I didn't get it in a war zone. I got disability for it because it took out half my tricep.
Oh boy.
So
Wow.
it, uh, but I didn't get a Purple Heart for it
Yep.
because I wasn't in a war zone.
Yep.
You know, and or the ones I was in weren't declared or weren't even considered. Worth. Well, they weren't talked about. You
Oh, like Grenada.
yeah, yeah. I went in Grenada. I was before that, but we're talking
Mm.
Central America. You
Oh.
know, and because we were advisors, and that's I
Oh,
went in with an advisory team.
okay.
So, but that's didn't qualify. You know,
Right.
it was politics, and I was to me it was just a job. I was assigned to go do it,
Yep.
and that was it. But this, yeah, it got looks like a giant, looks like a one of them. Off of Jurassic World, those the little, not the T Rexes, but the raptors. Looks like a raptor bit into my arm.
Oh, wow. Well, if you looked at my legs, you'd think I had a railroad going on there with all the scars I've got on my
from
legs.
from the surgeries.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. So, yeah. So, thank you, Mitch, for turning me on to Dan Bongino. I will watch him when I can. And boy, he's very impressive. I've heard a lot about him, and I finally sat down and watched one of his videos. I'm like, ooh. He's up to like over 300K right now,
Yeah,
and and his stuff looks really professional. And I'm like, that is what I want to do with this show. I want to make it
yeah.
to where, make it look like a real show. But we're working on that. Maybe Ed Myers, welcome to the show. Um, yeah, he's almost at 400K.
Yeah.
And
Is he also not on Blaze TV? No, that's that's Louder with Crowder. That's on
yeah,
Blaze TV now because he got ran off.
yeah, he got kicked off YouTube. Yeah, yeah,
Hello, Edward Myers.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's Ed from Love My Drones, I believe.
Oh, okay. Well, he Love My Drones was in here. What would he do? Log out and come back in under another one?
Probably did.
Cool. Yeah.
So hey, but he's building up my uh hey, we're up to 8 people watching. Hey, great.
Well,
9 people. Well,
we're
hey,
getting,
starting to
yeah.
pick
And
up steam.
I think topically that right now we're coming into we're in the primaries.
Right.
We're talking politics. Make sure you do that's another thing when you do your description for the show. Make sure you put in hashtag politics
Oh,
hashtag.
okay.
Yeah, you put that in like at the do your description and put that in. You can put in 3 hashtags and
Mhm.
that'll pop them right at the top and they'll come up on searches that way. So
Oh, okay.
put
Hey,
it in your description, like, uh, let
that
me
is
see,
a great
hashtag,
point.
uh, put
And
something
I
like
can
that. And
watch
what
him.
it'll do is it'll highlight it in blue, and anybody types in politics, or you can put hashtag conservative. You know,
Uh-huh.
you can do 3 of them, though, and they'll be put right at the top of your just. You don't put them there; it'll automatically put them there. You can do 3. You can do as many as you want, but 3 of them will be highlighted and popped at the top of your description. So
Okay.
each week when you do that,
Okay.
uh, and also do it for the channel description too.
Okay. Yeah, that's a very good point. I never really thought about that. No, okay.
Well, I forgot who told me about it, but
Right. Well, I
you
know in my tags, I learned a lot about tags, and on my other channels, they're starting
right.
to get traction. So maybe that might be something.
Tags, yeah, tags are good. They give a general overall, and
Yeah,
they help categorize you and make you more known to one group or than another. But the hashtags are the ones that are they're the hot button topics.
okay,
Uh,
cool. Okay, I'll do that. Someone said
hashtag
Trump
grumpy train.
train. Hashtag
Yeah,
Trump train.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, here we go. I like this one. No, Jay Bruce. Hashtag grumpy train. Yeah,
Well,
that's good. That's good.
like it says,
Yep.
you
Hmm.
Vote for me. I would absolutely die if I start all of a sudden I turn on Fox News the night of the election. We don't know who this grumpy vlogger guy is, but he's been getting a lot of write-in votes. That would just crack me up. And I'll bet I still wouldn't break 1,000 on my channel.
Well, we had Thaddeus McCotter on uh, last month,
Yeah.
and now I've been sending him what the topics are going to be on the show, and then he gives me
Yep. Hold
thumbs
on just a
up.
second.
Okay.
Let me step out of here real quick, okay?
All right. Okay. I'll take you out of here. And all right. So yeah, so that's what's going on, and yeah, we get this channel going. I want to do some more upgrades to the studio and to some of the equipment. Uh, what do you folks think about maybe setting up if I set up a GoFundMe to uh, you know get a few things to make this a little better, um, make it a little more professional. I know what I would like is if I could upgrade my VMix to where I could have more than just my co-host on. If I could have a guest on, or maybe more guests on. So I would, if I could raise like 500 or 600 bucks, then I could do the next upgrade to VMix, and maybe I get okay, okay, great, thanks, Steve. Yeah, and we build up my watch time here on this channel and on my other channels. Uh, Steve, don't forget I have a fishing channel called Arts Place Fishing. So if you want to help out there, that channel is growing pretty good. I'm almost to 400 subs right there. So yeah, thanks, Jay Bird. Uh, so you would that be something that you think would help out this channel? So I'm just have a few ideas that I'd like to throw out there, and I think with VMix, then I could really make the show look more professional than I like StreamYards, but I'm sort of limited a little bit on how it looks. Uh, to where if I have VMix, like, oh, thank you, Jay Bird. Thank you for subscribing. Uh, yeah. What I would like is if I could get someone to make me a banner like Dan Bongino's when, like at the beginning of his show, to where okay, I could do a timer and have some music, and then when the timer is up, then it goes right into that banner. I sort of have a banner, and I have some audio to it, to where I have an announcer that comes on and says, "Welcome to Arts Place. Your host Art Carlson. Blah blah blah. Uh, Liberals fear him. Conservatives love him. At 4'6", he's definitely a giant among men. Let's welcome Art Carlson." OBS and okay, yep. The I've tried StreamYards, but the templates are kind of, I don't. There are some things about OBS, but I know how to use vMix, and it's pretty similar to OBS. Even with OBS, I still have to use StreamYards to have guests on. Your OBS looks really good. If I could learn how to set it up like that, and I played around with it, and I go, wow! I just kind of get. I feel like I'm over my head. Where with VMix, it's so easy to do this, that, and all the other stuff. But you know what? I'll still try to play around with OBS. Now that I've got plenty of space on this computer, I don't have to worry about uh, running out of space for the show. Yes, that's right, and I have Skype, and I could yeah, there we go. Steal Mitch's monkey. No, what I would like to do is have like what Lloyd has, where he's got the waving flag in the background. Have a a professional uh, sound system. I mean, this mic is pretty good. It's a UPS or UPS USB device, but I'd like to. I've got my other old microphone, and I could stick that into a mixer. Lloyd's got a really nice mixer where I could do sound effects and stuff like that, and it's not this big honking thing like what Ken Heron has. Uh, so, Ed, what is the speed of your CPU? Are you AMD or Intel? If you're an Intel, uh, an i5 is plenty. Even the first or second generation. That's what I've been using now. I've got an AMD. It's 80 or 5800 CPU, but it's a quad core. What I'd like to do is eventually get like a six or eight core CPU with a lot of threads on it. Then I could really do a lot of stuff. Now they've got AMD's got a new CPU out. It's a 64 uh, threat or core. I mean, it's just insane what's going on out there. So welcome back, Lloyd. I was. You got your mic on?
Yeah, no, I do now.
Okay. So we were discussing about upgrades to the show. I was thinking about if I could upgrade my vmix to where I could have a third person in, and Steve
Yeah.
and other people who said, no, go OBS, do OBS.
You know, for I mean, OBS is good and it's free, and but it's very CPU intensive, whereas vmix is designed to use your GPU more.
Okay, right?
I mean, from my understanding, what little bit. Uh, oh, Jaybird is leaving.
Okay, take care, Jay Bird.
Yeah, you take care, Jaybird. Good having you on here.
Okay, you don't need a processor that big. It's only good for editing, not for live. That's true. You need it's the GPU that really helps
Yeah,
for
it's the
live.
GPU that really affects things, and that's where you got to have it. StreamYards works extremely well, and for if you pay for it for a year, it's cheaper per month.
Right.
But uh, and I'm considering very I'm very seriously of using it along with, because I'm using vmix. Obviously we're both using vmix for our background images, for our green screen stuff.
Right.
And uh I think, let's see, if I do this, of course you can set up, let's see, I can do this, and then I'm just in the background like that.
Right.
Everything's still working. But you can set, because I did it on mine last night. I was doing some testing with someone, and uh, anyways, I turned out I'd set, because they actually have green screens that come with StreamYards. But
Right.
if you pay for it, you can customize it,
Right.
and
Okay. That's something else to.
that's something else. I mean, really, the best one out is vmix right now,
Yes.
but it's expensive.
Yeah.
You and I both know that.
Hmm.
Uh, the but for just starting out, StreamYards is an excellent starting position. You
Hmm.
know, it's free.
Yep.
You can do, like Steve said, 20 hours a month on the
Right.
free version.
Hmm.
But
Yeah. I use the.
that's true, Mitch. Why spend money when you don't have to?
Mm,
And
that's true. That's good.
yeah, it's like Zoom. I think I'm getting rid of Zoom because I'm just having problems with it. It's just
Right.
not
Hmm.
working out the way I want. Like
Right.
right now, I bring Greg in on Skype. That's something you can do on vmix.
Right. That's true. Hmm.
You just got to make sure you have your uh, virtual audio cables.
Right. Hmm. Well, you'll have to show me how to get that spinning cube with my logo on, so I could do that on my show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I will. It's
All right.
just setting it up proper. So,
Yeah.
anyways, where were we?
Oh well, we were talking about things that I could do to make this show look a little more professional, and I, I kind of like this flag for the background for
Yeah,
the
yeah,
show. That looks good,
yeah,
and I think when I start, for the art code or the art code drone show, I'll do a different background and
yeah, yeah. This is my Artco setup,
okay,
or Arch Place setup. I've
art,
got a different one for Artco. I got a different one for Mel. I got one for me. I even
yeah.
got a different one for Oz. Oz by drone. I use an Aussie flag.
Okay, well, let's see. We've done almost an hour and 15 minutes.
Yes.
So, hey, thanks for coming in, everybody. Thanks for wow, we're still up to 9 people.
Yeah.
That's pretty good for the show.
Mitch says he will show you how to use OBS to do everything you want.
Okay,
And that would be cool. That's
okay,
actually good. That'd be something I'd love to see you do on one of your shows, Mitch.
yeah,
Is show how. And he also says he'll loan you the monkey.
okay. All right, let's see. Okay,
Yeah.
somebody's messaging me. Okay, okay. Someone. Okay, got that taken care of. Yeah.
You just missed that, didn't you?
What was that though?
I said, who needs a monkey? You got me.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And yeah, that's here. Have a
I love
banana.
it with OBS. I started with it and then I kind of
Yeah,
I probably need to really go back, and I've got it on my system. I just need to go back and uh study it some more. You
right.
know, I'm
Yep.
one of those guys
Well,
that know how it works.
right. I played around with it when I first started the Art Coach show. And
Right.
then I went to Streamlab, or not Stream, yeah, yeah, OBS yeah, Streamlab,
Stream
because they had some pretty
yeah,
cool
this is
templates.
StreamYard. Yeah. Streamlabs OBS. Yeah.
Yeah,
Slobs.
Yeah, and yeah, played around with that, and that then I got out of that, and I got to vMix, which I've been using for a little over a year now. All right, so yeah, let's shut this puppy down. Thank you, everybody, for coming to the show. How did we went from politics to computers? It's amazing. Okay, everyone, thanks for coming to the show. Steve Carpenter, Rick Albert, Mitch, Mike, Ed, and Steve Mack, and who else?
We had Rick, we had
Yeah,
Rick Albert,
Jay Bird, thanks for coming. Uh,
Love My Drones. Yep.
Love My Drones. Yep. Thank you all for coming to the show. We'll have more big stuff next week. So, everyone, have a great Sunday. God bless you and see you next time. Bye bye.